5, 6, 7, 8.
Welcome to the Lore Zone.
And a 5, 6, 7, 8.
Hi, I'm Paisley, and you're back for the Lore Zone, or you're here for the first time, which is like honestly really cool.
Yeah.
That's honestly super sick. It means that we're growing and evolving.
Yeah.
And this might be working.
What episode is this? 5? 5. Yeah.
Well, we're excited to be back, and we feel like we've started off this series by covering the basics, so you know who we are and why we're alone.
This whole journey is just explaining to people
why we don't have
alone.
significant others.
Isn't a crush just a lack of information?
Yeah, exactly.
We're
giving them all the information so you don't romanticize us.
Government efficiency, they like to call it.
We're at the new Department of Government Efficiency. Yeah. We're just saving everybody some heartache.
Yeah. Anyways, welcome back to the Lore Zone.
Somewhere in there is going to be a good introduction.
Yeah.
We wanted to cover some other things that we talk about a lot, and we thought maybe you would also want to talk about them. And the biggest thing, and why we actually have no shock and awe to any of you, is Callie and I have both, since the day we popped out of our mother's womb, thought the world revolves around us.
I'm a star. I literally thought I was Britney Spears for like 30 seconds when I was young.
I thought I was one of the Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen twins.
The triplet?
I was just the third Olsen because I had bangs.
Yeah.
So I just was convinced. I'm actually, everybody thinks I'm Mary-Kate.
Yeah. I was born in Louisiana, so I thought I was Britney Spears'
You were born in Louisiana?
Yeah. Welcome. Hi, my name's Callie.
Have we met?
I don't know.
No, seriously. Who is this? And I think that I don't want to say a problem that plexes all of us, because I think a majority of people, the fly is on you.
This is going to be a tough episode to get through.
This is going to be tough.
We're both a tinge tired.
Both of us went and had a Saturday night.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but we committed to this. And
yeah.
I've been so unbelievably swamped with work that we haven't had a chance, which is why this has been a bit delayed, which I'm sure none of you even noticed at all. And that's fine.
Yeah, hello.
Like,
literally.
Who are we even talking to?
But yeah, last night
we had a great night. Mm-hmm. And I think separately. And I think both of us had our moments where we felt like a main character. I wore a see-through dress to dinner. I wore a crocheted dress to the bungalows.
Yeah, I went to this man's house because I just know he's obsessed with me, and I just wanted the attention for 5 minutes.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
And I think, honestly, every time we do this, you get really vulnerable unexpectedly, and you share some truths.
The podcast?
Yeah. Do what? And that's what we want to talk about today, is a vulnerable piece of ourselves that I think both of us have. I don't know, I carried a lot of shame about it for a while, that I always desired being in the spotlight. Like, okay, I'm 4 years old. I've taken a ballet class. And then from that moment forward, for the next year probably, I brought my ballet clothes with me everywhere. And at any opportune moment that I saw, I would take out the ballet clothes to let everyone know if they needed an impromptu performance, I was prepared.
Trained.
Any time where I could get all eyes on me, I took it. And I love that. Like cheerleading in high school, I wanted to be the first person on the mat for competitions. There's literally pictures of me like 15 feet in front of my team. Not a team player.
Yeah, me neither.
I went, this is my time to shine.
Yeah.
You know, and I think when I moved to LA, and it's sort of beginning the ages of influencers, like Alexis Ren was like, you know, our Tumblr girl. I immediately was attracted to it, but had no way to like create something in it. And
you didn't have a GoPro?
I didn't have a GoPro, which was my first problem. My second problem was I had an iPhone 4. And an addiction to Vine.
Yeah.
And no comedic timing at this point.
Yeah, you have to work on that when you're young.
It was something to develop through the trauma.
Yeah.
And so I think in the last couple of, well, honestly, I would say in the last year was when I finally was like, I'm going to say this with my chest. I like being the center of attention. I do want to grow a significant presence on social media. And I want to be a fucking star. Sue me, you know?
Yeah. Relatable.
Oh.
I think.
And that's a really great point, Diane.
No, I used to be the same kid where I would get mad at anyone who beat me at anything at my birthday party, my own birthday party.
Sure.
I fear some therapist is going to be listening to this and be like, narcissists.
They have
like they're going to
severe
diagnose
issues.
it. And yeah, I used to like have my own stadium shows on my bed in my room alone.
Making up dance routines.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just like pretending I'm on stage.
Yeah, I did. Do you remember Aqua? The
Do
band
I?
Aqua, who did Barbie Girl?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would do performances in my room. And one time, and we can cut this, who knows? I in my vision of my performance, I needed to be suspended in the door frame of my closet. And when the beat dropped, drop down from it. And I couldn't, hoist myself up there because I'm 7.
Not Spider-Man.
But boy, did I try.
Yeah.
And I remember having an Elmer's glue stick and putting glue all over my feet. And I was like, I need this for the performance. It loses all its pizzazz without it.
She's also a production manager as well.
Set design.
I had a canopy bed.
I had a canopy bed.
But that could get, like, it was definitely like one wrong move and the whole thing falls type shit.
Whoa.
Yeah.
For
But
the
I wasn't much of a
chandeliers.
pink. I was more of a Britney. She was on the ground at all times for the most part.
Brittany was giving us
I wasn't
the
doing
dance
like
routine of her life.
aerial, yeah, flips.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you liked it.
Yeah.
You had a nice time.
And then I moved to LA and wanted to be famous and wanted to be loved and perceived. And then I got a little bit of a taste of it. And my body
You
was
had a
like,
few viral moments.
my body was like,
Spooky.
spooky.
Yeah. It's
And everyone,
exposing.
it's not like I had bad viral moments. I had generally good ones.
Yeah.
But my body doesn't know the difference between that type of dopamine hit and going to war. So...
Which is something we're working on.
So I feel like over the last couple of years, I've been very much, and this is where we'll talk about both ends of the spectrum, because I feel like I still have that in me.
Yeah, you do. But then I watch you talk yourself out of it a lot.
For sure.
Yeah, you'll start to go there. You did the other day. You were like, "Oh, I want to reawaken my Instagram," because you stopped posting on Instagram for a while, and then we started talking about it. And then by the end of it, you were like, "Actually, no, I don't."
I forget I have talent,
You do. You're incredibly talented.
but like genuine, I like went through my Instagram, not at like forget. Like I genuinely forgot that I used to do certain things, and
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know if that's an ADHD thing, but
I think it is a little bit.
out of
I
sight,
do.
out of mind.
Yeah, I do. I think it's a little bit of that, which is a very real symptom. It's not anything wrong with you. That's just like a very real. My rings always click. It's just a very real side effect of
Life.
ADHD
Yeah.
and life. I think, okay, so, and I also think as a child, being reflective now on where, like, yes, there was an innate sense that I think I was just born with, that I want to be the center of attention. I have 2 other girlfriends. I told you this the other night. We went to dinner at Cipriani's, and I'm wearing the sparkliest dress of all time, and all I want is to walk through the room and every single person to look at me. And it happened, and I'm on 10. And, like, people may see this and go, God, what a cunt.
So cunt.
Like, I'm absolutely serving cunt.
Yeah.
But my 2 girlfriends that are with me are like, I couldn't imagine something worse to happen. I don't want anyone to, and I just go, I don't understand that at all. And I think over the years, taking ownership of it is also bringing the awareness of the downsides of it, and where sometimes it can stem from that it takes control of you. And
Validation, the external validation.
the external validation, because that's inherently what it is at the end of the day, is external validating and externally validating experience. And when you primarily seek that to fill a void of something else, I think there were plenty of moments throughout my life where I would have the same desires, but it would be to go to fill something that I'm lacking myself. Whether a partner I feel like is not paying attention to me, like whatever it is that I felt like I was missing, whether it was the relationship with my father, or, like the relationship with a partner, or I'm just like in a weird influx of life, death by comparison, it can be really devastating, because no matter how many heads turn and look at you, or how many likes you get on Instagram, or how well a video does, you'll still feel empty. Yeah. And so now I feel like I'm at this point where my cup is very, very full, and I'm taking ownership of the fact that, like, this is an innate piece of who I am, and this is what I want, and I'm okay with that. Yeah. And I'm not going to feel shame about it.
Yeah, I can admit that up until like 2 years ago, from birth to then.
So you do the math.
Yeah. So I'm not going to tell you how many years that was. But anyways, I needed external validation to feel good. And part of it, maybe I wasn't getting it romantically, so I'm trying to get it on social media, or vice versa. It was all to fill some void in me. And I think right when I started I don't know, something in my brain was like, I used to post on my stories all the time, on my feed all the time. I go back to my there's like hundreds of archived posts and all that. And I was just posting. And now I'm like, why? Mm-hmm. Why was I doing all that? Why don't I still want to do that? And I think it's there. I did heal something in me that was like, I don't really need it to get through the day. Like, I think I needed it. before, you know?
And that's the release. That's the like acceptance of like, I know that this is a piece of me of what I want, but I don't need it to feel okay.
Yeah.
You know, like I'll still be great without it. It's just like a fun, nice to have on top.
Yeah.
You know?
And I do get the hits of.
Naturally.
Yeah.
We're only human.
Yeah. Yeah. Adoration is a hell of a drug.
It really is, you know? And it's, it feels like when you contrive something on socials and post it, that you're in control of it.
Yeah.
And you're like, look at, I can make all these people love me.
Yeah.
You know?
Because my dad didn't. Just kidding. He does.
Yeah.
I think.
To the best of their ability.
Yeah.
I love him. To the best of his ability, he loves me. And that's where that is.
Yeah.
We should call.
Yeah. What's his name again? Okay.
Oh my God.
What do you think feels better or more exciting?
Would you rather?
A crush
Okay.
or a viral moment on social media from a bunch of strangers?
Oh,
A crush giving you the same adoration.
there's contingencies to the crush.
Yeah, not the crush that's ignoring you.
Oh, you mean the crush that I had for 5 minutes?
Yeah,
who
the
never
4
called?
crushes you had at once. Yeah.
The best way to get over your crush is to get 5 new crushes. And none of them want to date me. And that's fine. I
okay.
don't want to date them.
Can't handle the heat, get out of the kitchen.
Get the fuck up out of here, babe. I think in the grand scheme of things, I know that a real relationship is inherently more fulfilling than the viral moment. At this point right now in my life,
Beggars can't be choosers.
beggars can't be choosers. I tried to go, I can have these viral moments on social media. My socials are growing as we speak, which is really fun and exciting. And it's also a career path for me and something I'm making money and growing my business from. And I love every single second of that. Like all of the strangers, like the women that reached out to me. And then in that same breath, would have loved to have, a person in my corner to share that with. But I'm finally at the point that I know both of those things, although they're amazing, are not the, derivative source of my happiness.
I am.
You are.
And Susan.
And Susan is. And everybody, and then
vintage shops.
He's just gonna say in shopping. And that's okay. But I know that like the source is me, and everything else is a really fun bonus.
Yeah. Do you think? Well, that was we already talked about relationships and crushes.
Oh yeah, been there, done that. Got
Yeah,
that
yeah.
fucking T-shirt, and let's just say there's not a lot to talk about in my life right now, legally out loud.
And I can't talk about my crush because it's 7 minutes old.
It's 7 minutes old, and we should, and that's where
We'll cut that. Any hoozles.
It's been so exciting to watch my social medias and my business grow, and also know that sharing that experience on social is also work. I care very deeply about the content that I put out, and I want it to be intentional and authentic and positive. I want it to be like, I feel like I've carved out a little corner of the internet that feels like a little slice of sunshine, and I like that about me. And it's, getting to this point now where I go, okay, well, how much do I share? And what do and I don't share? And I've never been a big oversharer on the internet. I've never spilled any drama or tea, although tempting at times.
Any minute now.
Any moment, perhaps.
We have some stuff in the cabinet.
Yeah, we've got stuff in the cabinet. But I think, you start to build this community online. You start to build relationships with people, and they feel connected to you in your life, and start asking like, okay, well, what about this routine? What about this? What about, can you tell us about this? Can you tell us about that? And you want to be able to give that. And then you also, I'm also very cautious. There's like a social media leech in my brain that will start to put a lens on everything, that like I have to look at everything as content. How am I going to get a picture of myself in this outfit? How do I make sure I get the right aesthetic photo for my story? And in the past, that would fully hijack my frontal cortex and make me incredibly anxious and not feel satisfied with anything that I'm doing unless I got good content out of it. And so I would have to go on these social media detoxes because I would just I wasn't present. I was not there. And so that's something that I'm very aware of now, that my business is me and my social media is me, and this is like all one big conglomerate. Like, where do I get to draw the line so that some things feel like it's still just mine and my life and not everything is online? I think the internet can quickly become a boundaryless place from viewer to creator and peer-to-peer comment sections. Like, there's no stop gates. There's nothing to slow things down. You can just have all of it instantly. And so you become a bit insatiable. And how do you, as people like us who want to be the center of attention and the whole time and love it, like where do you make sure, like you have to be so cautious to protect your energy in that and make sure that you're taking care of yourself.
I think not the pressure, the self-inflicted pressure of the success of like especially my art.
Yeah.
And putting all that out on the internet. I'm not a big talk to the camera gal, but maybe I'll work on it one day as I hold a microphone and have a podcast.
Not a big talk to the camera gal. Anyway, what are you doing?
I'm talk to Paisley gal.
Yeah.
I'm not talk to the
We're
camera.
here.
Yeah.
Who is that?
I think the anxiety of that moment I'm about to release something into the world, how well it does, coming down from the high of the dopamine hit or the validation, and then the cycle of that just got so subconsciously exhausting for me. And I think that's why I was like,
I'm done.
I didn't even say I'm done. I just like one day I was free.
Yeah.
But I still want to be successful in that way. I'm like, unless I'm like releasing a feature film on my Instagram,
you do like to make sure that everything is like the biggest, most cinematic experience, which is amazing.
But that's like 10 hours for one video of content.
Which is incredible talent of yours that you have that vision. I'm someone that wishes I would put more of that. You've taught me to be more detail oriented in that sense.
We need to meet in the middle.
And that's exactly it.
Yeah. I mean, you don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to do anything different. I just like, if it's not a choreographed piece of content, I have a hard time participating.
Yeah, I think you can take a couple pages out of my book about shit posting kind of vibes. But I think part of your, at least from what I perceived, your experience with it is like you went through like a healing thing, kind of like what I did with my last breakup when I was like, oh, I realized a piece of my severe anxiety was that I became the decentered piece of attention in this relationship because of his work, and that hurt. And that was hard because this, like what I loved about this person was that they worship the ground I walk on. So I'm self-aware. I can do that. And so I, went inward and tried to heal that. And I do think that you've done that work and realized that some of the art that you're producing, you were putting through the lens, or wanting to produce, you would immediately put through the lens of like, well, how will this be perceived? How can I monetize it? And then it crushes.
Yeah.
So I do think you've been doing a lot of work to heal that piece of you.
Yeah.
And not seek the validation from like just being the main character, to know that you are that no matter what, and then create from that space of like, I just want to put this out because I love it.
I need to do that. But also
jot that down.
Also like all of the creativity might have stemmed from me being hungover all the time, but also like crushes and love interests and heartbreak and life experiences. And I think I was a little bit not experiencing life for the last 2 years.
It would be weirder if you didn't take a pause.
Yeah.
You needed to slow down a little bit.
It wasn't sustainable, but
and that's
here we go again, I guess.
Here we go again, I guess. I think that you are approaching it with a fresh set of eyes, and I do think like the way that you talk about how you want to be perceived and still give yourself that validation of like, this is a piece of me. Like I do have this main character energy syndrome, or like whatever we want to call it. And how can I honor that piece of me without it being in control or being like my only source of happiness, and I can still fulfill these dreams of mine without feeling like it's determined by, a number of like on Instagram or like whatever. Like you're not giving that piece of it the power anymore.
Yeah.
And you're experiencing life.
Yeah.
And we're going to go on trips.
We're going to go on trips.
And we're going to do things.
And we're going to get married to each other. And we're going to do all the things together.
We're doing it.
Yeah.
We are. I think we're doing it. And I'm just a little tiny ballerina out in the world seeking joy and attention, and I'm okay with that.
We are the pop stars that rerouted.
And I also cannot sing for the life of me.
Me neither.
I thought I was going to did I tell this story on the podcast already, that I thought I was going to be the star in the school musical in middle school? We did Annie. Have I told you this?
I think you told me.
This is where my main character syndrome got a little too in control, because when you're like 8, you always just think you sound like the best singer in the world in your head. Yeah. And it's 8th grade, and I take a musical theater class, and we're doing Annie, and I'm like, well, obviously I'm auditioning for Annie because
who else?
I'm the greatest.
Are there other
here.
characters in that?
Who even knows? And I go up there and I start singing "The Sun Will Come Out Tomorrow" in front of the whole class, because that's how you audition. And within 3 words out of my mouth, I immediately know that I am not a good singer, and this is a horrible mistake. I've made it really.
I am in danger.
I'm in danger, and I've got to finish this.
Yeah.
And then I just remember everyone's faces like looking at me, and I was like, all right, okay, cool. But I've done that so many times, and I didn't let it deter me.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to get in the arena and you're going to fuck up a couple times, and it's going to be embarrassing.
Yeah. But also, as a kid, when you don't know anything about anything, look, I just thought I was the most talented in any sense besides singing. I never tried that, but I knew.
You're not missing out on anything in my world.
But then I look back at those videos as an adult, and obviously I'm like, oh, but I'm like,
oh yeah,
there was no prodigy kid over there. And then the other day I'm watching Kiana's home videos.
Oh.
She came out like that.
Yeah, she just showed up.
And she's showing us all these videos of her winning everything that she ever competed in.
Shut the fuck up.
And I was like, this checks out.
That makes sense.
But
yeah. I don't remember ever being a huge success in anything. I think that's part of it too, is like, I watch people who are genuinely so talented. Like my friend Emily, she's unbelievable. Like literally, you know, savant. And she's so hard on herself.
The smartest people are.
They are. And you don't have to be like the greatest thing at whatever you're trying to be successful at it and to
Clearly
derive joy from it.
Yeah.
That's what you said. Just like them watching other people. I'm like, oh, they're doing it? That's fine. Yeah. I just think you have to honor this piece of you. And also, something interesting I've also noticed in the age of everybody wants to be an influencer like Andy Warhol's in the future, everyone will be famous for 5 minutes quote is so the fruition of our reality. There's so many people that feel like they should do it. Like I should just be creating content and I should just be like, because that's what everyone's doing and you can make a bunch of money. And like, it's okay if you don't want that. Like, it's okay if you don't want to be a YouTuber. It's okay if you don't want to be like, I think it's such a celebrated piece of society right now and such a revered, I don't want to say like false sense of celebrity, but it's like this little like, oh, I could do that. I could become a celebrity through this. And so maybe I should just try it. And it's okay if you like don't want to.
I do feel obligated to join.
Yeah.
But it's just not in me to make content at such a rapid pace. And I know to like keep up with that. Yeah.
Well, and it would also be inauthentic to you.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't be successful because you're just trying to, I think that's
make
like,
a buck.
Yeah. The thing that I see the most about people who are like, well, I'm going to try this social media thing. And they don't really feel like they're just doing it because they feel like they should do it.
Mm-hmm. That's me for sure.
You know, but you get to create on your own terms. And if that means like once a year you put out like a literal piece of cinema in your artwork, great. Mm-hmm. Like that's fine. You know, maybe it's not rewarded in the same way that like hyper produced content is in social media, but that's true to you. Mm-hmm. And that's what feeds your soul, you know, and you're like wanting to be main character energy syndrome kind of feeling.
I remember when all the discourse around like, if you want to make it on TikTok, you need to post 3 to 4 videos a day. And I was like,
psychotic.
I used to post maybe like once a week.
Yeah, which is a normal thing to do.
Yeah.
I think it's like so like the speed of trends and everything. It's like you just feel like you're never keeping up. Like my 20s, it was really hard to feel like death by comparison was a really big battle of me in the 20s.
A lot of my art and creativity always stemmed from like a single song at a time.
And I love that.
And I would then create to that song or with that song in some fashion. Now I'm like, I can't choose my own music. I have to choose a trending sound.
Yeah.
For content. And then I'm like, there's so many rules of engagement that I'm just like creatively depleted. I'm like, how do I navigate this trend? I got to hop on this. Like, why the fuck am I doing this? Like,
yeah. No, I think that is the killer of true uniqueness and creativity that we see now is like the visible rewarding of someone following all of those perceived rules of social media of like, okay, if I use this audio and I post these hashtags and I do it this time, then I'll be good. Mm-hmm. And then it'll be great. And it just like neutralizes your content. It went from this like great, like abstract motif to like this little round nude ball of production.
Yeah.
And you're like, that's not what I wanted. And then it doesn't feel good. And then you're like, it still didn't pop off. Like, why am I doing this? It still
didn't pop off is the thing. I could follow every trend, hashtag, fucking time of day, cadence.
Yeah.
I mean, a few popped off, but it's not a consistent thing. And then you're like a slave to this
then you're
machine.
Yeah. You're stuck in the machine.
And then obviously these platforms are built to scroll and to keep your attention for like hours, days at a time.
Yeah.
And then you just don't have your own thoughts at all anymore.
That's what I like. I made a video about this with like fashion, you know, it's like you just see all these trends. And so you're like, oh, let me get a link to this. Let me do that. And it's like, go Go
outside.
make mistakes. Go outside. Go thrift something weird. You know, like that's the people that we look up to and aspire to be are doing that. They're not following the trends. You know, I've just especially when I started monetizing on TikTok, there was a period where everything in my head was like, okay, well, how can I do this so I'll make the most money? And I was in my flop era. All my shit keeps bombing, and I was so anxious about it. And I was like, this isn't fun for me anymore. I don't want to do this. Like, you have to release. It's that constant battle of like knowing that I want this attention and then trying to find ways to derive it and be in control of it. And the thing is, I'm not.
And being creative versus playing by the rules.
Yeah.
You have your shtick.
I have my shtick now,
Yeah.
and it's me, and that feels really good. I was talking to somebody the other day, and they were congratulating me on the success of Peach Honey, which was really sweet of them and a fun conversation to have. And they were like, yeah, well, like, keep playing the game. And I was like, this isn't a game. And that's kind of the double-edged sword with this brand being so intrinsically linked to me. Like, there is like well, I hope everyone likes me because then they'll like Peach Honey. And so far that's happening. I'm terrified of the world turning on me. I don't know why they would, but one day they could wake up and find me cringe. I don't really know.
But
You're
cringe
in
is
their
in,
hands.
apparently.
Apparently cringe is in.
Yeah.
Who
Millennials
knows?
are back, baby.
We're back, baby. My side part is here and I'm strong.
Yeah.
And, you know, I want to the biggest, if you take anything away from this episode of much as we've rambled, the most important thing that you can do to fulfill this I want to be perceived thing, or I want to put content out on the internet, is to just be so authentic to yourself. Like, to not have to feel like you need to fit a mold or do something that somebody else is doing because it made them successful. Like, what is it that you want to put in the world? Like, what's your why? Like, why are you doing this? What do you want? Like, with Peach Honey, I know so deeply what my why is. And with my content now on social media, I know so deeply, like, what I want to put out there and how I want to be perceived. And that's what I follow. That's what I continue to do.
And piggybacking off of that,
Hit me
also
with it.
let yourself evolve. Like,
Yeah.
you can be one thing, and then you could be, like, I was a bikini girl for a long time.
Oh, I've been like 11 different people.
Yeah. And then I'm party girl, and then I'm artist girl, and slutty girl. And
Yeah.
like,
now
I'm mullet girl. Like, I don't know who this bitch is on social media yet, but I guess this is where we're starting.
I guess that's what brings us here today.
Yeah.
Hi, how long have you guys been here?
Yeah. Oh, hello.
Oh. Right. Anyway, well, full
Anyways,
circle moment.
Part of my fear of being perceived by the masses is protecting certain things that are quote unquote sacred, and the level of that depends on different people. But like relationships, for one, being a person that's chronically online and watching these famous relationships turn into 10-part series and all this stuff. I don't know if I could ever, I don't know if I could ever bring relationships
Like
back.
have a public relationship.
Yeah.
I know I've thought about that a lot. As someone who's very single and nobody asked me out on dates, I've thought about that a lot.
For someone who hasn't kissed anyone in a year, like, I don't think I have to worry about this. Well, maybe soon, but we'll cut that.
It's cute.
And
Yeah.
then
I think relationships are a big one. I think it puts a lot of energy on it.
yeah,
It's hard to share that piece because then you're giving something so intimate to people to perceive and digest and judge and put their energy and opinions on. I mean, I feel it just even with my last boyfriend. Like, we dated in a very public communal kind of space at the gym, and I think having everybody perceiving it and being a part of it in some way was hard sometimes. You know, it's a lot. And then to think about, okay, well, that was a lot. Now I'm at 300 something thousand followers on TikTok. What happens if I do eventually get asked on a date? Lord fucking willing.
yeah. Are you obligated?
Am I is that like a conversation? Do they feel comfortable with that? Like, I probably do need to date someone who at the very least is comfortable with me, maybe even talking about the relationship on the channels and then where do you draw the line? I think it's a conversation, but it's hard to think you give people access to.
Yeah. And beyond that, also friends and family stuff. Like, every time we talk about doing an episode, we're like, can we talk about, obviously we're talking about us chronically, but can we talk about all the other characters in our lives? And, a lot of times no. But like, I don't, like, my family is a big part of why I am the way I am, but I also don't feel comfortable really talking about too much of that.
Totally.
Just because if anything's negative, it also feels a little bit of a betrayal. And then assumptions are made. And I don't know, the internet's just so fast.
Yeah.
Like you say one thing, people will come up with their own narrative, and it's just things get out of hand. And I think that's another thing why as we have a podcast again, talking to the internet, they don't have 90% of the context, you know?
Yeah, they don't have all the context. And honestly, I'm okay with that because I do think, like, okay, my first viral video was during COVID, and it was about my Uncle Steve, which is the most generic thing in the world to say. Hey, Steve, you know, like nobody knew him, but it did have a negative impact on the way that those family members, like that set of cousins and uncles, like perceived it. You know, they were like, oh, I can't believe you would say that. And I get it. Like, there's part of me that was like, well, all's fair in love and material, babe. Like, you know, you're
I'm
part
a
of the bit now.
comedian, guys.
I'm a comedian. I'm working it into the routine.
Yeah.
But I'm also aware that, yeah, that can feel very, like a very vulnerable experience. I'm used to being perceived, but you're not used to hearing your name and then it being viewed by 3 million people. That's probably a pretty scary thing. I mean, this last crush that I had, I made a TikTok about it, but I don't want to post it on Instagram because I don't want him to know it's about him. And I doubt he watched this whole episode, but if he did, sorry. I meant
also,
it with love.
You're back on the bench, bitch.
Also, you dropped the motherfucking ball, so it's your problem.
Anyways,
we'll cut that.
Yeah.
And
No, we won't.
No, we won't.
I'm the editor. So.
You're in charge. So, you know, I'm aware of that. Like, and I also feel like sometimes it's like bad juju to like do that. Like, I don't want to, like, yes, I could probably get a million views being like, this fucking guy and blah, 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 because it's juicy. I love third party drama I'm not related to. I love cold
keyword third party.
Yeah. Like, I want something I have no context of, but I want to hear all the tea on it. And I get that other people find that engaging, but I feel like it feels so gossipy.
It's also a slippery slope.
It's a slippery
We've seen
slope.
like things snowball out of control, like I was like, they did this to themselves, but like the Brooke Schofield and that singer Clinton Kane.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I'm watching a trial.
Yeah.
Where they're reading text messages and like
death by public opinion is so scary.
Yeah.
And someone's experience can be very real and very true to them, and then the other person could have a completely different experience. And I don't know. I saw this one girl, she started, I could tell, went viral once by saying, this is my third party drama, so I don't care about it. I'm just going to tell you guys. And then you get that dopamine hit. And then you're like, oh, okay, this is my shtick now. And you keep doing it. And I can't imagine, you know, there's plenty, I tell you my like hometown stories that are just like fun drama things.
On the edge of my seat.
It's just fun, you know, little in a safe, controlled environment of being like, wow, I can't believe this happened.
For someone who can't remember any names, so
safe
with me.
Yeah,
secret safe.
But I can't imagine, like, yeah, I could probably make a video about it and satiate that little piece of me that wants to be the center of attention by exposing this drama in a way that where I'm like, well, I'm not saying names, but they would know. And that would hurt their feelings.
Not only could they potentially know, and you're a nice lady for caring about their feelings, but they could also get on the internet and be like, have you heard of this bitch Paisley?
Yeah.
And there could be just this like,
it's just
could be
karma.
untrue shit. Like, I don't know. It's a slippery slope, and I'm too conflict avoidant to bring drama online.
And I'm not even conflict avoidant. I just feel bad.
Except when someone's trying to knock off my company, and then.
Well, that part we do need to have a conversation about. We got to find who made those bikini tops.
Yeah. Like, well, it's just another day.
Great. Well, I think I feel good about it.
Yeah.
Is it time for my question of the day?
Oh, shit. Yeah. I always forget.
I do, and then I sit here and I can't think of it, but then it'll come to me. Okay, my question of the day is, what was your favorite main character moment?
In life?
Yeah, your favorite moment in life where you went, I am the main character. This is my moment. What was your favorite one?
I don't know what my favorite one was, but I can tell you the first one that just popped into my head.
Yeah, great. That's even better.
Were you there for my birthday at Pangea, the Halloween birthday on the stage?
No.
Remember at the
Did you just look at me? Hot.
Did I?
Yeah, you're like,
am I gay now?
I don't know if that's how it works.
Oh. Wait,
okay,
at the Vermont. Remember at the Vermont in the east side?
I was not there.
Okay, so it was the October 29th.
Right.
The day before my birthday, so midnight's my birthday.
Yeah.
And of course, we're behind the DJ on the stage because where else would we be?
Right.
Big stage.
Yeah.
It's a theater in there. Have you seen that stage in there? Anyways.
And she's on stage.
And I'm on stage. All of a sudden, everyone behind the DJ I don't know who started it, but everyone's like, "Yeah, it's your birthday in 10 seconds, whatever." And the DJ just doesn't know this, but the DJ, right when it hit midnight, and not even on purpose, started playing "Go Shawty, It's Your Birthday," and all of a sudden, everyone's like pushing me to the front. I'm in front of the DJ booth,
Oh,
like
which we love when she does that.
dancing. I think there's like photos. I don't know if there's video, but it's just like we're all dancing in front, and I don't know. It was just like a very
peak.
yeah.
Midnight birthday, go shawty, it's your birthday. You're dancing in front of the whole place.
But not even on purpose. It was. I was like, "Did you know?" And she's like, "No." And
So
it was
kismet.
like, yeah.
Oh, I love that.
But that's like the first one I thought of. But
And I love that. Do you have any other ones you'd like to share with the group?
not that I can think of.
Okay.
Do you?
My first one that popped into my head, and this is really when I knew I was a star, and I'll tell you that right now. But I was like 4 or 5, and we went to see the Judds. Do you know the Judds, like Ashley Judd, and when like they have the big red hair, and we're at this big outdoor amphitheater in Albuquerque, and there's the sound booth in the middle, and it's in the middle of all these like box section seats, and somehow we're in the box seats, and the Judds pop up in it, and they come and start talking to me, and my dad's holding me, and I had just lost my 2 front teeth. And they said, "Look at you, cutie patootie." And I smile really big, and they go, "You don't have any front teeth. How are you going to eat corn?"
That's why you love corn, huh?
And that's why I love corn.
Did you figure out how to eat corn without the 2 front teeth?
I don't remember. I was eating a lot of kid cuisines, and the corn was already off the cob. That was my first main character moment where I was like, "Oh, I love this feeling."
That's such a cute one.
Yeah, I think that was one of
I'm like, do I have any kid ones?
Kiddos.
Just like winning dance competitions.
Oh, that's fun. Yeah, competing as a cheerleader was the biggest emotion that I could feel at that age, and it was really big.
Huge.
I loved
I
loved
got
competing.
goosebumps just thinking about it.
It took me a long time to watch that documentary Cheer, because I was like, it's such an intense feeling to watch.
There's nothing else happening in the world.
Yeah. I would like I would black out like and just be, I loved it. I would get such a high from it.
Me too. Oh, I crave that high.
So
anyways.
well, I feel good about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel good about it.
Well,
thank you.
thanks for coming.
Yeah.
I hope you liked it.
Yeah.
And if you didn't, don't tell us, because we'll be sad.
Yeah. And we can handle it now.
Yeah, I can handle it.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, comment, subscribe,
Follow
share.
our businesses. Callie's undergoing a big renovation of Sorry Dad that we cannot wait to release to the world. So keep an eye out for that.
Yeah.
Peach Honey's doing another gummy drop soon. This episode will probably be out in cohesion with that. And thanks for hanging out with us.
Yeah. We hope you enjoyed.
In La Biblioteca.
And
La Escuela.
La
Okay.
Pluma. 5, 6, 7, 8.
Okay,
Okay, love you. Bye.